Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Museum Camp. We're going to get started in just a second. Who has come here wondering what the hell it's all about? Yeah. We've come along today to an event that's not been in the Museum's Journal, it's not been in any newspapers, it's not been in The Guardian, it's all spread by word of mouth, through Twitter, through emailing, and through little cheap free websites run by people who are passionate about museums in their spare time. Now, what this means, this unconference, is that it's self-organised. You've all come here, despite there being no agenda whatsoever. There isn't even a discussion forum saying what might be discussed.
Object, you make that situation, right, we've got a perfect collection, but then something really important has come up. Do we keep these things that actually we haven't used for the last 10 years and can't imagine using again? Or do we try and find a place where they will be more useful?
And then if you can identify specific demand aspects of content, both in gallery and digital, and then use those to get resources from the HLF or whatever to then drive digitisation, it should be that way round. Too many of these projects will digitise these 15 metres of catalogues or whatever.
Completely surrounded in this stuff, and then you're kind of herded through to different spaces, and again you're totally submitting to this experience now, and then they put the blindfolds on, and for the next half hour or so you are led just by like the most gentle sort of like touches and hints on your body around these different spaces, and they're getting you to sort of bend down and move through these low passages that don't exist, because you go back afterwards to check out what the spectacle looks like from that point, and they're just kind of brushing the top of your head. Yeah, you bet that was a story I wanted to tell.
Given someone a script and said, this is what we need you to prove, go do it for us, then I suppose that might be...
You need your structured evaluation with maybe external people for your funders to meet that requirement, because we have to do it, so there's no point hiding it and trying to get away from the facts. And then you need internal evaluation, which is the actual useful kind that the staff do to work out how you can improve for next time, and that's the real useful stuff.
I mean, in Shropshire we went through a phase of actually putting all our results up on the walls in places and on the websites, and you know, not surprisingly there was a limited amount of feedback, but nevertheless some of that feedback was actually very good.
You mentioned photos, and I think photos are key. If you are sending out a press release, if you're telling someone about anything, if you've got an image, it makes it exponentially more likely that that will be used.
Just that.
I'm completely lost in it.
I love that.
If you have a photograph of an object and you open license it, somebody who visits your museum and wants to write a blog post about what a lovely time they had, can it illustrate it with that picture?
Business in the community sort of matches kind of charities with people who are in industry or in a company who want to have a day out with their staff to do something interesting for a charity.
Unfortunately, something that's accessible there is inaccessible to people like my brother, because the talking software can't interpret pictures, it can't interpret maps.
Well,
so it needs something that can be read. The reader won't read it.
Take over. There is a very strong feeling that actually letting go is terribly difficult, especially where people have been involved in the setting up of an organisation. Being able to be brave enough to say, no, it is time for someone else to have a go, is really, really important, and it's important for the whole Board of Trustees. So if you're on boards of trustees, you have to be honest with yourselves about succession
I
planning.
met someone at a previous networking thing and they said, oh, come to this museum camp, someone I knew and someone who I trusted. And so I said, oh, well, just come without knowing what it is. And it's been really, really interesting. I've liked the way it's been organised, that it's not a proper conference, that you get plenty of chance to talk to everybody.
And what kind of topics were you hoping to find, or did you have any idea?
Because we don't work in a museum as such, we're an out-of-doors arboretum, it's really difficult to find people who do the same thing as you, and so you want to find lots of different ideas as to how you can cope with teens or encourage them into your venue, really, which is what we're interested in.
So have you had a cake yet?
We'd had a go at decorating one this morning.
Okay, excellent.
We're going to have another go this afternoon, I think.
Fantastic.
To help the innovation, see what new ideas are, and to network with people.
I'm really, really passionate about heritage and history, always have been. So we do social media for a living. So being able to talk about social media, leadership, that sort of things in relationship to heritage is like manna from heaven for me.
And what about the unconference aspect of it? Do you think this is working better, or how do you think it's been working?
I think I went to my first unconference about 5 or 6 years ago, so I'm really relaxed with the format. And actually you can tell from the fact that people are talking so much that everybody else is as well. So the big issue, I suppose, with something like this is for those for whom it's new, making sure that all voices get heard. Not everybody has the confidence to pipe up. But
For me, likewise, I've been for about 3 years now to conferences, run my own ones. But it is key that we get the new people on board. And every one of these events, we have more and more people joining us. We need to capture them, give them the positive experience and so forth, because for me, these are a lot better than normal conferences that you go to. There's a lot more enthusiasm. The people here are much more engaging and willing to take ideas away.
And cake.
And cake is always an oil in the cog, yes.
Because I'm come from a fairly sort of formal environment
You
in a
are
way.
the museum people we are targeting.
Well, I'm a little bit disappointed that there aren't more managers, directors of museums here. That would have been nice.
I will say though, it's funny because most of the people here are glad that they're not, because we get to talk openly and then hopefully take the message back to management.
I can see that, but I do think that it's important that you experience things for yourself as well.
Absolutely.
And I think that I don't think anybody's going to not talk just because I'm here.
Yeah,
so.
no. You're too nice. But I agree, and hopefully, maybe as this grows, if we have we have a second one, and more management people will get to know. Hi, I'm with Linda Spurtle, who was the brainchild of Museum Camp. What made you come up with this?
It was a mixture of things. I mean, it was partly going to conferences and perhaps seeing the same sort of people speak again about big money projects. And then within the conference itself, the sort of chat you'd have out, I'd often hear about other things. I thought, wow, that sounds fantastic. I want to know more about that. So for me, it's an idea of getting people together and getting them to share when perhaps they wouldn't feel confident enough to stand up on a stage and share. And to just get loads of people talking and loads of ideas coming out, loads of collaboration at the end of this, I hope.
So how did you go about this?
How did I go about it? I thought, who could I ask that would go and actually get something done? I know, Ma Dixon. So and you were the very first person I asked about whether you thought this was a good idea, and crazily you said yes, you thought it was a good idea.
And then I started looking into funding and sponsorships, but we got there.
We got there. It's amazing.
Look at the people that are here today.
I know, it's absolutely amazing.
Have you pinched yourself also? Because I'm sitting there going, I cannot believe all these people showed up.
I know, it's amazing.
I went from I have too much food to oh my God, do I have enough food? Which has been absolutely excellent. Have you been able to sit in session yet?
Well, I've only been to one so far. visual. I went to the one about setting up a magic museum, and now I thoroughly want her to set up that magic museum, because we've all got it visioned in our minds now. We've come up with the most amazing ideas, and if it doesn't happen, I'm going to be really disappointed.
So a plenary, basically, what I want to do is go through, but I don't want to go through all of them. I kind of just want to touch base on some of them that have happened during the day.
Big, very open-ended discussion about all the issues and challenges to do with our data, where it's held, what we could be doing with it, how things could be improved.
To help museums and galleries and other institutions to work with their local community by getting Wikipedias into the institution to do editing of articles about the things in that collection.
I'm looking at setting up a Museum of Magic in Liverpool, and I just wanted some help and that I was doing the right thing and that it was a good idea, and they gave this to me and they've convinced me that I need to get my online presence out there right now.
We spent quite a lot of time giving careers advice to someone who went at lunchtime who's just finished her first year at Warwick University doing art history.
Because we covered a huge amount, sponsorship and nighttime tours and venue hire, and even just some ideas or that other people had or that I had that I hadn't realised that we could do that.
This idea of going low tech, this idea of taking ideas from game formats and applying them to a new setting.
That we should be encouraging other people, our visitors, to use social media, and in order to do that we have to allow them to be able to take photographs in the museum, video, and we have to be happy with that. But if we are happy with that, it's a great bonus for us, because those people are advocating for us and saying, this is fantastic, come and see it.
Unusually for the sector, they now had some freedom to do digital stuff. They have their own website, they're freed up to do social media. So in our context of the last few years, social media and local authorities, it got quite interesting.
Disabled people aren't a homogenous group. They're all individuals, and then you can have conflicts within that in terms of what's accessible for somebody with visual impairment as opposed to what's accessible for somebody who's deaf.
If you write about us, or if you have anything, positive, negatives, anything, we just want to hear some feedback from you. You contacted us to sign up, so you know how to contact us to send that information. And I just hope you guys all had a really good day.
Yeah.